from the home of Big Blue Nation. This is BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
It's a big weekend for the Big Blue Nation. The men's basketball team set to square off against LSU tonight at 6 o'clock, and the women's team takes on Tennessee on Sunday. Welcome to BBN Game Day. I'm Keith Farmer.
And I'm Christy Thomas. We're going to get you ready for those games, plus talking to several UK coaches, and of course, as always, Jack Goose Givens. But first, let's get started with Kentucky and LSU. The Cats are finally back in Rupp Arena today. Keith, they're going up against a 10-3 Tigers team. Let's take a look at this. LSU is in the top 10 in the nation in points per game. They score over 85 per game. Kentucky, not so much. They're just getting around 67 per game. But on the defensive side of the ball, the Tigers giving up almost 74 points per game. That ranks them around 250th in the country in scoring defense, while the Cats are limiting opponents to just 68 points per game. I don't know if I like this combo. This doesn't sound great. Where LSU scoring a lot of points, Kentucky is giving up a lot of points.
So I got to go the opposite way. I have to. Okay. So the defense is playing good.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have another good game. This is the game. This is the offensive breakout game.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
It has to at some point, right?
And it has to. Yeah. In this game especially, it has to. Both teams are coming off bad losses as well. LSU fell to Alabama on Tuesday night when the Crimson Tide drained 23. Yes, I said 23 three-pointers. And then Kentucky, of course, trying to recover from that brutal loss on the road to Georgia. B.J. Boston talked about how the team is feeling.
I wouldn't say we're discouraged. Obviously, everybody would be mad with this kind of record, knowing we should be better. But I feel like we've been putting the hard work in, and we just got to keep our heads high and keep going.
You hope that Boston can channel that anger that he mentioned into another high-scoring performance. He had 18 points coming off the bench against Georgia. Christie, he says he liked being able to actually see the game before joining it. I think that, as much as you want to see a guy start, maybe that's the best thing for him.
Everybody has a certain role that they like to fit into and fall into, and for him, if that's it, then so be it. If that gets 18 points per game, we'll take it every day of the week.
Yes.
No doubt about that. Well, as for the LSU player to watch, that's Cam Thomas. Here's what Joel Justice had to say about the LSU freshman.
He presents, an extreme challenge the second the ball goes from our possession to theirs. And that's something that you've got to be alert. You've got to be ready. We've got to be ready. It's not a one-person assignment.
The 6'4" freshman guard is averaging 22 per game. You could make that 24 if you take out his 0-point performance a few weeks ago when he got hurt just a few minutes into the game. He's shooting 41% from the floor, 30% from behind the three-point line. He's really a dangerous player, Keith.
I would like to believe that Kentucky's gotten ready for this game, having played Sharif Cooper, K.D. Johnson, Severe Wheeler from Georgia. So I feel like now they're prepared for another fast guard. But I love the fact that he says it's not just the one guy guarding him.
Right.
It's everybody on the floor. All right, there's also Trendon Watford, a 6'9" forward. The sophomore is averaging just over 18 points and 7 rebounds, shooting 50% from the floor and 75% from the charity stripe. He's a good test for Kentucky's big guys.
As for the women, Kyra Elsie's Cats take on Tennessee Volunteers in Knoxville. Always a tough place to play, and always a big game, no doubt about that. This one is a reschedule. A bit of a homecoming for Coach Elsie, who played for legendary coach Pat Summitt and the Vols in the late 90s. How about the fact she won 2 national titles? Then she worked there as an assistant coach for 4 years. Elsie joined a Zoom call hosted by the Associated Press this week alongside 2 other former Lady Vols, Tennessee's current head coach and Mississippi State's current head coach.
Even though we think about her all the time and we're talking to different people, this week really forces you to go back and find the videos, find the pictures. So I found myself really emotional. The reality, like, oh, wow, yeah, she really is gone. Like, she's really gone. We all wanted our kids to meet Coach Summitt and Jackson did not get to meet Coach Summitt, but we were at the Pat Summitt Foundation, and I always talk to him about Tennessee. Now, maybe a little too much. But it's important for me, for him to understand, that I played at Tennessee, what Coach Summitt meant. So we were at the Pat Summitt Foundation, and he was young, and he went up to the poster. He was like, "Mama, you're coach," and like tears melted.
Man,
wow.
I tell you, well, this has been We Back Pat Week. They have this every year, really just increasing awareness for Alzheimer's and dementia and everything that Pat Summitt stood for and what her foundation is all about. So, and you think about that coaching tree, how that goes so far and wide.
Yeah.
3 head coaches in the SEC all playing for Pat Summitt.
I mean, she was in that era where you may not have known a lot of coaches. on the women's game, but you knew Pat Summitt.
That's right.
Because she was that good.
Yeah.
And so it has been fun to see all the coaches in the SEC wearing their different colors and everything, saying we back Pat.
You know what's cool about it as well too is I have heard Kyra Elzy in just the short amount of time that she's been the head coach at Tennessee make mention of her several times in several press conferences where she'll say, well, as Pat Summitt once coached me, as she once said. So lots of things that she has, lots of pearls of wisdom that she's now passing on to her players as well too. So I just think it's all remarkable, and I love what she's saying about how she wants that impact to keep going on, and they're all going to be carrying on Pat Summitt's impact for a long time.
And we don't feel bad at all that she's bringing up Tennessee, because we know how much Pat Summitt meant to her and to the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're going to break down the matchup between the Cats and the Lady Vols later in the show.
But first, we'll dive back into Kentucky and LSU. We're going to the tape with Goose Givens. That's next on BBN Gameday.
BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment. Sponsored by Central Bank, Coca-Cola, Kroger, Papa John's, and Toyota.
With roots dating back to 1946, Central Bank remains a community bank dedicated to serving the people and businesses of Kentucky. We're here, as always, with customer service and support, as well as online and mobile banking services available 24 hours a day. For the latest information about your options for banking services and resources, visit us at centralbank.com. Central Bank, central to you. Member FDIC.
Love lower than low prices? Then get more ways to save at Kroger, where you can find personalized coupons, weekly deals, and rewards like fuel points. All for prices that are lower than low. On food that's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Sticky notes are part of our daily lives. And people have found some pretty creative uses for them. As Kentucky's insurance company, we appreciate the resourcefulness and the fact that billions of sticky notes are made each year right here in the Commonwealth. And we think that's something Kentuckians find pretty noteworthy. Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
You're watching BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Welcome back to BBN Gameday.
As always, we're happy to be joined by Jack Givens. Goose, it's been a tough couple of days after that heartbreaking loss to Georgia.
Do you have to bring that up, Christy? I was hoping we could get through this show without even mentioning that game. But yeah, we need to talk about it. It was very, very frustrating to see how Kentucky lost the game. Worked so hard to get back in it. It was just fun to see them finally coming together, stringing some plays together. You build what you think is a comfortable lead with a little time left, and once again, they just simply found a way to lose it. And that last play was just amazing, that you allow someone to catch the ball right there at the basket and score that easily. So it was a frustrating loss, but it's over. Let's look at LSU now.
That's it.
Yeah, you got to look forward and just move on. Let's talk about some of the things that you saw that the Cats can build on going forward. Goose, give us a couple of plays that you saw on Tuesday that you would like to see more of today.
You know, guys, one of the things I haven't seen that I see with all of Coach Calipari teams is that alley-oop, where they just lob it up to the rim and you see a big old arm go up there and grab it and throw it through. You don't have to go all the way back to Anthony Davis. Just go last year to Nick Richards or EJ. I mean, it always happens. It always starts with a screen. Kentucky has been working on this play in practice. Often there's that screen, look, and it makes us forces a switch, and you just throw it up there. And of course, Jackson is capable of going up there and getting it. So I hope to see more of that play right there. One more time, the screen, force the double team, and then alley-oop it up there. That's a staple for Kentucky offense. We just haven't seen it enough. And then the second play that I saw, that was in the first half. In the second half, watch how Kentucky clears it out for Sarr. Calipari always talks about simple basketball, make the simple play. This starts by isolating Sarr right here, giving him a quick drop step to the basket. Everyone else is on the other side of the floor. Watch how this develops. Sarr is by himself, and he just takes advantage of what he's capable of doing. Simple basketball, well-executed plays. We haven't seen a lot of it, but those are examples of how Kentucky can take advantage of this team, because LSU, you can score on them. I know they score a bunch of points, but you have to get aggressive and make them play defense.
Yeah, I like that, where you're talking about that efficiency, that when it happens, it's really, really good for Kentucky, no doubt about that. So building on those good things, obviously going to take some work. Goose, listen to what Keon Brooks had to say about that.
We call upon our work that we put in every single day in the gym. Nobody on this team takes days off. Everybody on this team goes hard every day. We have great practices. Sometimes, the outcome just doesn't always go your way, but we're going to keep believing and keep pushing through, because we've put in so much work that we would be doing ourselves a disfavor if we stop believing in our talent and our abilities to win games.
I think there's no doubt we know these kids are putting in the work. It's all over social media. A couple of them might literally be living in the Craft Center. So I guess the question now, Goose, is how do they really get all of this hard work that they're putting in to pay off in such a big way?
I guess I'm going to go back to the Florida game just simply because it's so good to think about. But for the first time, I think we saw everybody clicking at the top rate. You have to have more games like that. You've had one like last one, BJ steps up and plays well. But where's Mentz? Where's Allen? Some of these other guys. I'm just waiting to get everybody on the same page again, and then execute from start to finish. And I have to use the Florida game as an example, because that might be the only one we've seen it.
Well, today they've got a top-heavy LSU team led by freshman Cam Thomas and upperclassmen Trendon Watford, Javonte Smart. That trio averaging a combined 55 points a game, Goose.
Listen, Kentucky's defense has been fine. I know we talk about their inability to stop the straight line drives, but when they've had a challenge, as in the Alabama game, as in the Auburn game, with all of these prolific scorers, Kentucky's done a great job on them. I expect them to do that again in this game against LSU, but you can't just play defense. You have to protect the basketball and score big numbers in order to beat this team.
Goose, in about 20 seconds or so, you've still floored me with the way you approach games, thinking you had to get to the free throw line to score. I think they did it 18 or 19 times against Georgia. Is that enough, or do they need more?
Well, that's enough if you don't turn it over 18 or 19 times. I mean, I hate to put it that simple, but it's that simple. If you make your free throws, do all those things, but take away 8 of those turnovers, you win this one double figures.
Well, you've heard it a couple times from Goose. He said simple basketball.
Yes.
It's working. If it goes simple for Kentucky, it's working.
Exactly. Goose, thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon. All right, coming up, we're going to hear what assistant coach Tony Barbie has to say about today's matchup.
Plus, we've got some football, baseball, women's hoops, just about anything you could want. It's on BBN Game Day coming up.
Tune in before every game for the Don Franklin Countdown to Tip-Off Show with Dave Baker and Jack Givens, featuring conversations with other former UK stars and Coach Cal. It airs 90 minutes prior to game time on the UK Sports Network radio affiliates or through the UK Athletics app.
Today tastes like staying in, like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating, and a little bit like waiting. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
We've been going to the same Skyline for 11 or 12 years now. When I see that familiar face at the drive-thru, it makes me feel good. Just making that connection, seeing them again. It's like going home. We always make sure that we eat as a family, and on the busier days, hitting the Skyline drive-thru is perfect for that. It's always a good experience, and everybody in the house is happy. We eat Skyline once a week for lunch or dinner. Yeah, sometimes it's 2 times a week. Skyline is definitely my family's favorite restaurant.
You're watching BBN Game Day, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Let's go to work.
I don't know about that. I don't know. That was weird for me, but welcome back into the show. He could be our new favorite person for lots of reasons, but Jamal Singleton is UK's new running backs coach and special teams coordinator. He's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, we talked to him and so many other Kentucky coaches this week. We couldn't just pick one to show you, so here are the best bites from all of them. Sponsored by Bird, the official shared mobility partner of the University of Kentucky. We will start with Singleton. He had more to say than just the sound effects. Coach Singh is excited to work with this talented group of running backs. Of course, Chris Rodriguez expected to be more of a workhorse, but Cavassier Smoke looked pretty good last year when healthy, and young guys Juton McClain and Travis Tisdale just waiting for a chance.
There's some different skill sets in the room. I think that's always important, that you can have some guys that can do some different things, and not everybody's just a one-trick pony. So I think it's really good to, with Chris coming back and the things that he's been able to do already. You got Smoke, and then even some of the other guys that maybe haven't played as much are just looking for their breakout moment.
Christy can't wait to see how he and Liam Cohen transform this UK offense.
I think both of those guys bring such an energy that I really like, just even talking to them in a press conference situation like that. They just have such great energy. So I think that that's going to bode well for these guys. I think they're going to be really relatable. All right, so on to baseball now, because we also talked to Nick Mingione this week. His Batcats have officially started practice and have finally got this season scheduled. The non-conference opponents have not been finalized, but Kentucky's slate of SEC games is set. And of course, as always, it's going to be tough.
We play 10 weekends in the SEC, and 8 of those are against ranked opponents. So when you start thinking about, okay, every weekend, here you go, right? And my gut tells me those other 2 that aren't ranked, probably at some point they will be ranked. You know what I mean? So we'll go through a series, and that's the beauty of our league, though. That's why I took this job. That's why I love being in this league. This will be my 14th year in the league now, and just a challenge. And after an SEC weekend, you just feel like you've been in a 10 to 12 round boxing match. So just the overall competitiveness of our league once again.
Keith, you look at that schedule and you think, are you serious? But listen, that's the case in the SEC, no matter what the sport is. You look across football, basketball, women's basketball, baseball, softball is even tough in the SEC. This is the league to be in.
It just means more.
It just means more.
but yeah, I'm just glad they're playing, because we saw that season end way too soon last year. So that was pretty tough. All right, on to basketball now, and Tony Barbie also had the chance to talk about these UK basketball players and kind of their mindset as they're getting ready for LSU today.
It's not to make an excuse, but with a young team this year, every young team around the country that has the lack of experience we do is struggling and trying to figure it out on the fly. But we got good kids. They're hard workers. They work hard in practice. They care. It means something to them to put on that Kentucky uniform. So at the end of the day, it's a matter of time before it clicks. We just hope it's before we run out of time.
So he's kind of talking about how they're dealing during this pandemic. I mean, it's got to have been just, I can't even imagine, being a Kentucky player or any athlete right now in college going through all of this.
No, this being the year of the student athlete this year, this is absolutely brutal. What I love, and we keep hearing throughout the whole show, we've heard not only from players but from coaches as well, is that this group is working hard. I'm not sure what more you could ask other than for them to work hard in practice and give it their best effort. It's not coming together just yet. It's not gelling, but they are at least putting in the work. You have to think at some point it'll pay off.
It's just the test. It's the going, not being able to go anywhere. It's not the normal college experience that you're getting, and not on top of that, you're talking about it's not the normal schedule. I mean, this was Kentucky's 13th game against Georgia. Normally, that would be the first game in the SEC.
Yeah,
the 13th game.
Everything about it's been so bizarre, and we've heard Cal talk about it, but there is that mental and emotional piece of this as a student athlete that you're also dealing with. We are dealing with it. So can you imagine what an 18 and 19-year-old kids are doing, trying to deal with it? So yeah, a lot on their plate, no question about that, but we believe, we've got faith, no doubt. All right, up next, the UK women have gotten going again with back-to-back conference wins. We'll see if they can keep it going. Yeah,
a preview of Sunday's big game between the Cats and the Vols is coming up next on BBN Game Day.
Watch the UK Healthcare John Calipari Show every Monday evening, hosted by the voice of the Wildcats, Tom Leach. Fans can call in and submit questions on Facebook and Twitter. It airs 6 p.m. across UK Sports Network affiliates and streams live on the Kentucky Basketball Facebook page.
Wait up. Papa John's has a new stuffed crust? Oh, we did it. We did it. All our tweets, DMs, and carrier pigeons worked. This ain't just stuffed crust. This is Papa John's crust. Stuffed.
Just up the road in Erlanger, Kentucky's own playing card company produces 4 billion decks of cards a year. We know because we're Kentucky's insurance company, insuring all sorts of property damage involving your auto and home, but not your house of cards. Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Papa John's is known for its crispy, fresh crust full of warm, fluffy pockets. And now they're known for stuffing those pockets with cheese. I love you, cheese. Get a new epic stuffed crust pizza with one topping for just $12. Papa John's.
You're watching BBN Game Day, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
The women's team back in action tomorrow.
Yeah, can't wait for that. The Vols are always a tough team to beat. The good news is the Cats are fully healthy, or at least they were against Auburn on Thursday night. Ryan Howard came back from that ankle injury for 14 points. Kentucky native Blair Green added 18 of her own, impressing her coach.
She practices nonstop. So the shots that you see her taking and making, she practices over and over again. She's committed to getting better. But the biggest thing is she's taken rhythm shots. She has found where she can score in our offense, and it is a positive for our team.
This team was rolling before, add in Blair as another go-to shooter, and this team is even more dangerous, right, Christy?
Well, no doubt, and you knew Blair Green had this in her. She was a prolific scorer in high school. She just needed some confidence in her shot, and boy, has she gotten it. And sometimes that's what it takes. Is your superstar steps away, you need someone to step in. I thought she's shooting with so much confidence.
Yeah.
So you're really starting to see some good things happen for her there, and thrilled. She's a Kentucky girl, county kid, as they like to call themselves.
And she's doing it from all over the floor.
Yeah.
It's not just hitting threes, but she's also driving, hitting the 15-footer. I love to see her game just developing. Stay right there. More BBN Game Day is ahead.
Today tastes like staying in, like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating, and a little bit like waiting. Food's here. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
Love lower than low prices? Then get more ways to save at Kroger, where you can find personalized coupons, weekly deals, and rewards like fuel points. All for prices that are lower than low. On food that's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's all-wheel drive season, and when you run the numbers, nobody has more all-wheel drive vehicles to get you through it all than Toyota, including the legendary 4Runner, a top 10 for resale value 8 years running. The full-size Tundra is #1 in its class, and so is Tacoma, the #1 selling mid-size truck. Lease Tacoma now for $159 a month. Get a 4Runner and get $1,000 customer cash, or get $2,000 on Tundra. Run the numbers and save. Toyota, let's go places.
It's the Honey Badger. Former Wildcat Mike Edwards coming up with a huge interception to seal the deal on the Tampa Bay Bucks win, sending his team to the NFC Championship game. How can that not be our Play of the Week?
Has to be.
Yeah.
And on the last play of Drew Brees' career, maybe, I don't know, Edwards will be back out there Sunday around 3 o'clock playing against Zadarius Smith and the Packers. One of those two players is going to a Super Bowl.
How cool is that?
Yeah,
that's really cool. Love that.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of BBN Game Day.
We'll see you same time, same place next week. Until then, go Big Blue.
BBN Game Day, Presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment. Sponsored by Central Bank, Coca-Cola, Kroger, Papa John's, and Toyota.